Imagine this. Greta Thunberg, the face of climate protest, standing on the deck of a ship heading straight toward Gaza. Cameras rolling, supporters cheering, Israel's navy on alert, Hamas waiting on the other side. Now here's the million-dollar question. Does Israel slam the brakes on this voyage like they've done before? Or do they just sit back, cross their arms, and let Greta and friends learn the hard way what playing revolutionary really feels like? Welcome to today's dilemma. Stop them or leave them. And no, this isn't just about one Swedish activist with a knack for slogans. This is about the clash of modern protest culture, Middle Eastern geopolitics, and the age-old question of whether stupidity should come with free lessons in reality. So let's get the basics down. Greta Thunberg, whether you love her, hate her, or wish she'd just take a vacation, is not just a random teenager anymore. She's a symbol. She represents youth, rebellion, and a brand of activism that thrives on spectacle. Her entire career is built on moments that go viral. And Gaza? Well, Gaza is basically the most controversial square on Earth. Blockaded by Israel, run by Hamas, and constantly at the center of international outrage, Gaza is not a place you just sail into like you're docking at Ibiza. There's a reason flotillas have been blocked before. Security concerns are real, and weapons smuggling under the cover of aid has happened more than once. And this isn't Israel's first rodeo. Remember the Mavi Marmara incident back in 2010? That was another activist flotilla trying to break the blockade. It ended in a bloody raid, international backlash, and years of finger-pointing. Nobody came out looking good. Israel looked heavy-handed. The activists looked reckless. And the world got yet another Middle East crisis to argue about over dinner. So here we are again. History rhyming, Greta's name in the headlines, a ship full of activists ready to make a statement. And Israel sitting there with two choices: intercept and risk the optics of manhandling global celebrities, or step aside, watch the activists sail straight into Gaza, and let reality hand them the bill. On one hand, Israel has every legal and security reason to enforce its blockade. If you allow one flotilla through, suddenly every activist group on Earth thinks they can charter a boat, slap an aid mission sticker on the side, and test your borders. You give an inch, they'll sail a mile. But on the other hand, Greta and friends are not exactly Navy SEALs. They're influencers with megaphones. Do you really want to give them the PR jackpot of being brutally stopped by Israel? The photos, the hashtags, the news coverage? It writes itself. And that's the dilemma. Do you risk the security threat by letting them pass, or risk the PR disaster by stopping them? Think about it. If Israel stops them, the world headlines will scream, "Peaceful activists attacked." Never mind the nuance. Never mind the security concerns. Context doesn't trend, images do. But if Israel doesn't stop them, then what? These activists step onto the Gaza shore thinking they've just liberated the oppressed. Cue the selfies, the chants, the viral TikToks. And then reality hits. Gaza is not a protest backdrop. It's a war zone run by Hamas, a group not exactly known for handing out vegan snacks and recycling bins. So again, Israel's choice is basically be the villain in the activist documentary, or be the audience to the activists' crash course in Middle East reality. Neither option looks good. Both come with risks. Now, why would Israel even consider stopping them? It's not just because someone didn't like their Instagram aesthetics. There's a real serious mix of law, security, and history. First, the elephant on the deck, Hamas. A political faction, yes, but also a militant group that Israel and much of the world classifies as terrorist. That means every shipment into Gaza, no matter how squeaky clean it looks, has the potential to be weaponized. Even a flotilla that claims we only bring books and blankets could, intentionally or accidentally, ferry materials that end up fueling conflict. That's the nightmare scenario. A well-intentioned activist unknowingly walking into a real-life, oops, we just made things worse situation. So Israel's perspective is simple. If you don't intercept, you risk the chance that a single misstep could escalate into missiles, tunnels, or other forms of violence. And once that happens, the world sees the headline, Israel blames activists. Not activists accidentally supplied Hamas with something dangerous. And don't forget history. The Mavi Marmara wasn't a cute Disney adventure. It was chaos, bloodshed, lawsuits, and a global PR nightmare. Activists walking into Gaza are literally stepping onto a historical minefield, and Israel, knowing history rhymes, might feel it has to prevent a rerun. Add to that the legal obligations. Under international law, blockades are recognized if enforced properly. Israel isn't just being mean when they stop a ship. They can argue they're defending their security, their borders, and their right to prevent hostile entities from getting supplies. And then there's the precedent problem. Today, it's Greta. Tomorrow, it's who knows who. If Israel lets one flotilla through, it signals to every activist group. Charter a boat, you're good. That's not a message any state wants to send. So yes, stopping the flotilla can look harsh. It can sting your progressive hashtags. But hey, the world doesn't operate on Instagram likes. Reality has consequences. That's the case for interception. But what if Israel flips the script and lets them go? Because here's the curveball. Sometimes letting people face consequences is more effective than saving them from themselves. Greta and her crew aren't toddlers wandering into traffic. They're adults with megaphones who know the risks. If they sail into Gaza and discover firsthand that it's not the Instagram backdrop they imagined, maybe that lesson sticks harder than any interception ever could. And let's be real, activists thrive on confrontation. They want the image of powerful state versus peaceful protesters. That's how you go viral. But what happens if Israel doesn't give them the confrontation? Suddenly the narrative isn't "we were brutally suppressed," it's "we sailed in and, oh, this is way more complicated than we thought." That's not exactly TikTok gold. Letting them go can also be a counterintuitive PR gambit. No aggressive boarding videos, no bloody headlines, just activists stepping into a place where reality does the teaching. Sometimes the smartest move is to let your critics write their own bad ending. Of course, it's a gamble. You don't want activists wandering into genuine danger. But the principle of stupid people win stupid prizes doesn't have to mean tragedy. It can mean bureaucracy, legal pushback, diplomatic slapdowns, and the crushing realization that real life isn't built for viral sound bites. There's a kind of justice in letting people run headfirst into reality. It's tough love geopolitics edition. History backs this up. The Mavi Marmara showed that bold gestures can backfire spectacularly. Greenpeace in the 1980s tried to block nuclear tests. Admirable, but dangerous. And it didn't magically stop governments from being governments. Activists running into conflict zones thinking hashtags shield them from bullets usually find out otherwise. The universe doesn't hand out medals for courage, it hands out consequences. And Gaza is the masterclass in consequences. Every bold move there comes with a price tag and rarely the one people expect. So we're left with the big, messy picture. Modern activism thrives on virality. Every protest, every voyage, every chant is engineered for shareability. But states like Israel don't get to play by Instagram rules. They have to juggle law, security, and international politics, knowing full well that whatever they do, someone somewhere is going to scream about it online. Do you protect people from their own recklessness at the cost of optics and freedom? Or do you let reality hand out the lesson, knowing the fallout might still land at your doorstep anyway? That's the exhausting paradox of governance in the social media age. There are no clean wins. And that brings us to the audience moment. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just Israel's dilemma. It's yours too. If you were in charge, would you stop them and risk the headlines? Or would you let them sail and let reality run its course? Do you prefer the story where activists become martyrs in the documentary? Or the story where activists crash into reality and learn the hard way? Either way, someone's ego gets bruised. Either way, the universe keeps score. So here's the final balance. Stop them and you enforce the law, protect security, but invite PR disaster. Let them go and you respect agency, risk mishap, and let reality do the teaching. Neither choice is clean, neither choice is safe, neither choice will make the world happy. That's the paradox. That's the viral-sized mess. That's why this story grabs you, because it's bold, messy, human, and gray all the way down. So here's your takeaway. The world is full of flotillas, hashtags, and moral dilemmas. Sometimes stopping people is the only responsible choice. Sometimes letting them face consequences is the most honest one. Either way, the lesson is clear. Overconfidence meets reality, and the universe keeps score. One viral headline at a time. And if nothing else, remember the oldest rule of all: stupid people win stupid prizes. But sometimes the lesson is worth watching. Boom, that's it. Pause, digest, scroll, debate, share, comment, like whatever. Just don't say nobody warned you about consequences. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you next time.